Hello, this is Japanese Economic Review Channel. Today, we're going to be diving into the latest Economy Watcher Survey for December 2025. This is a really unique report from Japan's Cabinet Office that gives us a real-time pulse on the nation's economic health.
You know, you can look at things like GDP or inflation data all day long, but those numbers, they tell you what has happened. This survey, it does something different. It asks a really simple but powerful question. What if you could get the real story right now from the people who see the economy up close every single day?
And that's the whole idea behind this thing. The government actually talks to 2,050 people. We're talking taxi drivers, store managers, people working at employment agencies. You know, folks who have a direct, totally unfiltered view of how people and businesses are actually doing. It's kind of like getting a live feed straight from the economy.
Okay, so let's get right into it. The first big question is, what's the overall economic mood in Japan right now, according to these watchers on the ground?
So before we get to the actual numbers, there's one key term you got to know, the diffusion index, or DI. The easiest way to think about it is like an economic mood ring. If the number is over 50, things are looking up. That's optimistic. If it's below 50, the mood is pessimistic. And if it's right at 50, totally neutral. Pretty simple, right?
All right, keeping that in mind, let's take a look at the big headline number for December 2025. Is that mood ring showing a bright, happy color, or is it something a little more worried?
And here we have it, 48.6. So the crucial thing here is that we're just under that neutral 50-point line. This means the mood is leaning slightly pessimistic. It's not a huge drop or anything, but it is down 0.1 points from last month.
Now, a single number is just a snapshot in time. What's more telling, really, is the trend. And this is the second month in a row that the index has gone down. That tells us this isn't just a random dip. There's a little bit of negative momentum here.
So why the slight pessimism? Well, that main number is just an average of everything. To really understand what's going on, we have to crack it open and look at the different parts of the economy.
And right away, you can see a pretty clear split. Both the household and the corporate sectors, they're feeling a little down, both dropping by 0.3 points. But then, look at the employment-related sector. It actually jumped up by 1.4 points, putting it right on the edge of optimistic territory at 49.5. And this is where it gets really interesting, because even inside a single sector, you've got these two totally different stories playing out. If we zoom in on household spending, it's night and day. Sentiment in dining just skyrocketed by 6.5 points. People are going out to eat. But at the exact same time, retail sentiment took a pretty big hit, falling 1.8 points. So what's the deal here?
The numbers tell us what is happening, but they don't always tell us why. For that, we get to listen to the watcher's own words. This is where the survey just really comes to life.
Okay, first, let's hear from that booming dining sector. This is a restaurant manager from North Kanto, and they're saying that even though they've had to raise prices, customers are still satisfied. And here's the key insight. They're seeing fewer big parties, but more small groups with bigger budgets. People seem to be choosing quality experiences.
And now for the complete opposite perspective. This comment from a shopping district owner in Kyushu just perfectly captures that struggle we saw in the retail numbers. They're saying even though it's the busy year-end season, there's just not much foot traffic. People's willingness to buy just isn't there, and they point the finger directly at the major impact of high prices.
And finally, this comment just seems to sum up the whole economy right now. An employment officer in Tokai notes that some companies are still hiring like crazy, while other companies are saying they're hitting their limits. And their conclusion is that a two-polarization is progressing. It's not one single economy, it's like an economy that's splitting into two different directions.
So that's the picture right now, a really complex mix of good news and bad news. But what about the future? How are our watchers feeling about the next couple of months?
And would you look at that? The future outlook DI comes in at 50.5. It has just barely crossed over into optimistic territory. Now, it's only up by 2 points, but symbolically, just getting over that 50-point hump, that's a big deal. It suggests there's some cautious hope for what's to come.
So where's all this good feeling coming from? Well, it seems like it's really being driven by the corporate and employment sectors. The corporate outlook is up, and look at that employment outlook. It jumped significantly. But, and this is a big but, that optimism isn't quite shared everywhere. The household outlook actually went down a bit, probably because of those same worries about high prices.
So what's the big takeaway here? Japan's economy is really at a fascinating crossroads. You've got this real, tangible optimism building up in the business and job markets, a sense that better times are ahead.
But that's clashing head-on with the reality for families, where the sting of inflation is still very, very real. The big question for the new year is, which of these two stories is going to win out?
Thank you for watching the Japanese Economic Review. We look forward to having you with us again.